All right, let's dive right in. We're about to take a little tour of the incredible command and control system that's sitting inside your arm right now. The amazing network that lets you do, well, everything from lifting your coffee to throwing a ball.
Have you ever really stopped to think about it? You decide, I'm going to pick that up, and your arm just does it. But how? How does a simple thought, an idea in your brain, actually turn into a physical movement? That's the big question we're going to unpack.
The easiest way to think about it is like the electrical system in your house. Your brain, that's the power station. Your nerves are all the wires running through the walls carrying the signals. And your muscles, they're the motors, the appliances, the things that actually do the work. If any part of that chain breaks, the whole system just stops. And there's a fantastic word for this whole process, this connection where a nerve plugs into a muscle to give it orders. It's called innervation. And trust me, understanding which nerve innervates which muscle is the secret to figuring out pretty much all movement in your arm.
Okay, first stop on our tour, the top. We're starting with the shoulder. It's the most mobile and, yeah, probably the most complicated joint in your entire body. So many of our arm's actions really begin right here.
So let's follow a single command, shall we? You've got these two super important muscles in your rotator cuff, the supraspinatus and the infraspinatus. They're both just sitting there waiting for a signal to fire. But which nerve is sending that signal?
And the answer is the suprascapular nerve. That's the one. You can think of it as a dedicated private phone line that goes to both of those shoulder muscles. It's why if you damage this one nerve, both of those muscles just go offline. They've lost their instructions.
Now this table, this is where it gets really cool, because it shows you the incredible division of labor going on. Every nerve has a very specific job. The suprascapular nerve has its two muscles. The axillary nerve takes care of the deltoid. The musculocutaneous is in charge of bending your elbow. They don't mix and match. It's an unbelievably specialized and efficient system. Okay, so we found our wire, the suprascapular nerve. Now let's follow that wire all the way to its destination and see exactly what motor it's plugged into. And here it is, the supraspinatus muscle. Its job is so specific, but it's absolutely vital. This muscle is basically the ignition switch for lifting your arm out to the side. It's the one that kicks off that first crucial 15 degrees of movement. After that, bigger muscles like the deltoid jump in and take over. But without the supraspinatus, you can't even get started.
Now, this nerve doesn't just magically appear at the shoulder, right? It's got to travel. It starts way up near your neck and has to find its way all the way to the shoulder blade to reach these muscles. So what's its path look like?
And this is just a fascinating little detail of our anatomy. The nerve and its travel buddy, the artery, are both heading to the exact same spot, but they take slightly different routes to get there. The nerve ducks through a little bony opening, while the artery hops over a ligament. Now, why does that tiny difference matter? Well, in that super tight space, that ligament can sometimes press down on the nerve, and that can cause all sorts of pain and weakness. It's a tiny detail that surgeons have to know like the back of their hand. All right, let's continue our journey down the arm. We're moving away from the complex shoulder and getting into the upper arm and forearm. This is where some of our most powerful and, let's be honest, familiar movements happen. Just think about the simple act of bending your elbow. It's a perfect push-pull system, a beautiful partnership. The biceps brachii, that's the star player for flexing, for the pulling motion, and its direct opponent, the triceps brachii on the back of your arm, handles extension, straightening it back out. They're two sides of the very same coin. Okay, so bending the elbow is one thing, but what about all those incredibly complex movements in your wrist and fingers that let you actually grip something tight? All that control comes from the muscles in your forearm, and they need a master nerve to conduct the orchestra. And that master conductor is the median nerve. I mean, just look at this chart. It is the undisputed boss of the front of your forearm. It innervates most of the flexor muscles that are responsible for gripping and bending your wrist. Sure, the ulnar nerve helps out a little, but the median nerve is really the one running the show.
Okay, so we've looked at a few different pieces of the puzzle. Let's zoom out now and put all these pieces back together so we can see the whole beautiful big picture of this command and control network.
So here it is, your cheat sheet for how a thought becomes an action in your arm. The suprascapular nerve tells the supraspinatus muscle to start lifting your arm. Then the biceps gets the signal to flex your elbow. And finally, the median nerve coordinates all those muscles in your forearm for a powerful grip. It's this beautiful, seamless chain of command where every single action is the direct result of a very specific nerve and muscle team up.
What we've just looked at is a beautifully designed, incredibly efficient system. It's almost perfect, but it's also incredibly delicate. So I'll leave you with this to think about. What happens to a person's life, their ability to work, to play, to just be independent, when just one of these tiny wires gets broken? See, understanding this network isn't just about anatomy. It's about understanding what makes us move.